two triangles that have the same shape but not necessarily the same size are called similar triangles. Corresponding angles of similar triangles have the same measure. That is, the angles are congruent between the two triangles. More importantly for our class, the ratios of the lengths of the corresponding sides are equal. For instance, if I take like this left side, the 4 and the 8, 4 divided by 8 is the same thing as 5 divided by 10, which is the same thing as 3 divided by 6. So when you have similar triangles, those ratios are going to be the same. So let's find the length of x in the small triangle and assume that these are similar. So what we do is we match up corresponding parts. So that means that the 10 over 18 is equal to x over 12.6. So you have this proportion here. You do the cross products. 10 times 12.6 is equal to 18 times x. So 126 is equal to 18x. And if I divide by 18, well, 18 goes in the 126. Looks like, let's say 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 1, 7 plus 5 is 12. Yeah, so x is 7. All right, so let's try now with y. So again, we need to match up corresponding parts. This one's a little trickier, but the longest side is 10 for the left triangle, and the triangle on the right, the longest side is 15. So those match up. And it looks like the 5 would match up with the y. So we have is 10 over 15 is equal to 5 over y. And if you do the cross products, you'll have 10 times y is equal to 15 times 5. So 10y is equal to 75, and y would then be 7.5. 7.5. All right, so let's find the perimeter of each triangle and assume the triangles are similar. So the one on the left is simple enough. That's going to be 7 plus 10.5 plus 4 meters. So that would be 7 plus 4 is 11, plus 10.5 is 21.5 meters. Now the one on the right, we got to figure out x and y. So what we do know is that 7 goes with 10. So the 4 will go with the x then. So we can say 7 over 10 is equal to 4 over x. So 7x is equal to 40, and x would be then 40 over 7. Likewise, we have the 7 over 10 is going to equal to basically the 10.5 to y. So that gives us 7y is equal to 105. And so if you divide it by 7, y would be 105 over 7. So the triangle on the right has a perimeter of 10 plus 40 over 7 plus 105 over 7. So let's think of that 10. That 10 can be written as 70 over 7. So if you add those up, 70 plus 40 is 110, plus 105 would be 215 over 7 meters. And then with the calculator, you can approximate that. So let's find the height of the flagpole that casts a 48-foot shadow, if at the same time a 6-foot pole casts a 9-foot shadow. So you can think of shadows basically are forming these similar triangles. So on the one on the left, we can do a ratio of 6 foot to the 9-foot shadow. And that's going to equal to whatever the height of the triangle on the right to its shadow. So we can do this ratio of 6 to 9 is equal to something h to 48. And then so it's going to be 6 times 48 equal to 9 times h. Well, I can do that on the side. 48 times 6 would be, 48. And then 6 times 4 is 24, so 288. So we have 288 equal to 9h. And then 9 into 288 would be 3 times and 2 times. So the height of the flagpole is 32 feet. Sadie is 3 foot tall, and at 6 p.m. in Sunnytown, Sadie casts an 8-foot shadow. So basically what it tells me is that for a 3 foot tall, cast an 8-foot shadow. That gives us one triangle. Nick is 5 feet tall. So how long is Nick's shadow at 6 p.m.? So that's my X. So again, corresponding parts, the 3 feet to the 8-foot shadow is equal to the 5 feet to an X-foot shadow. So if you do the cross products, 3 times X is equal to 5 times 8. So 3X would equal to 40. So X would be 40 over 3, which that would go in 13 and 1/3 foot. Or 1/3 of a foot is 4 inches. So that's 13 feet, 4 inches. All right, and finally, if a 20-foot flagpole casts a 40-foot shadow, how long of a shadow must be cast by a 6-foot man by the name of Doubt? So in terms of corresponding parts, compare the 20 to the 40. That's equal to the man who is 6 foot to that person's shadow, which we'll call X. So the cross products is that 20 times X is equal to 6 times 40. So X, or 20X, is equal to 6 times 40 is 240. And if I divide both sides by 20, I'll get X is equal to 12. So Mr. Doubt casts a 12-foot shadow. So what can we conclude about Mr. Guilty? Assuming that's here, Mr. Guilty is standing 13 feet away from Doubt. Well, now what can we conclude about Mr. Guilty? Well, since Mr. Doubt's shadow is 12 feet long and Mr. Guilty is standing 13 feet away, not only is he guilty, but he is guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt.